Petco Park, a new beginning, let's go. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Baby said she wanna go to the game. Taught her how to say Padre gang. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Mitchell and Ness with the old school name. All of the homies holler Padre gang. Yeah, that.
And good day, everybody. Welcome to the Padres versus Diamondbacks Talking Friars pregame show for June 22nd, 2022. I'm your host, Ben Fadden. Hopefully, you are doing well. Padres, what a win it was last night. Jorge Alfaro coming through. It was a game that probably should not have gone to extra innings if Trent Grisham would not have dove for that ball in center field that went to the wall. And then the Diamondbacks had an inside the park home run. Cronenworth had the worst throw I've ever seen him ever have on the back end of that play. Manaea pitched well, and those were the 2 runs that he gets dinged. But hey, they ended up winning. That's all that matters. And the fact that they beat Zach Gallen when Zach Gallen was pitching that good just shows how good this team can be, especially when they get Manny and Tatis back, because they were finding ways to win despite not being able to do really anything against Zach Gallen. Zach Gallen had 11 strikeouts. And I'll talk about that more on the series reaction episode after today's game. But for the pregame show today, June 22nd, 2022, I mean, obviously the big Tatis news, right, that he started swinging a bat yesterday despite the Padres not even telling us that. And there's a couple angles you could take from it. Like, one, the Padres are just stupid for having Tatis swing the bat in a public setting. You don't think people are going to take a video or take a picture of that? That doesn't make sense. Have them do it before fans can enter the luxury suite or wherever that is, the Lexus home plate dinner space that's down there by the batting cage. Maybe have them do it at 2 o'clock instead of 5 or whatever it was. There's that. And then the Padres not even telling us, like, AJ Preller literally held a Zoom press conference last week at Wrigley Field because he wanted to say that, hey, the scans didn't go or they went well, but there wasn't as much progress as made as we would have hoped. So he's not going to start swinging a bat. And we don't know when the next scan is. And until that next scan comes, he's not going to be swinging a bat. And then we get news here that he's swinging a bat, and we didn't hear that there was a scan. So I'll talk about that a lot more on the series reaction episode again after today's game. But for today's game, Diamondbacks, Padres series finale. Padres trying to get their 44th win on the year as they are 43-27 entering today's game. Diamondbacks are 32-38. They got Mad Bum on the mound. The Padres have Mike Clevenger. I don't really know what to expect out of Mike Clevenger. Um, last time out, it was out of the bullpen, and he was coming back from COVID. This time, he's back on the mound as a starter. Don't really know if the Padres, well, I'm sure the Padres do, but I don't think we have like a firm grasp on how many pitches the Padres want him to throw today. But in his last outing, he didn't look that great. Went 2 innings, 2 earned runs, did strike out 2. It was only 39 pitches, but in Colorado, he wanted that they were kind of treating that like a rehab appearance. Like, he didn't want to do any rehab appearances, so he kept throwing while he was having COVID. He said that he threw probably a little bit too much, that he threw like 50 pitches on Wednesday, I think, and he pitched Friday, and he said that he wouldn't have done that if he knew that he was gonna be pitching Friday. So now that he's a little more rested, that would be 5 days of rest, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 4 days rest, and now he's pitching today. So I would expect like 60, 70 pitches maybe out of him. And then out of the bullpen, you can go Nick Martinez and Craig Stammen's available, Adrian Morejon's available, and we'll get to that bullpen chart. But that's kind of where we're starting off. 1:10 p.m. is the first pitch. Padres are in first place in the National League West, along with the Dodgers entering today's games. The Diamondbacks are in fourth place, 11 games back. Um, what to watch for is for today before getting into the bullpen and the lineups. Can you keep that good track record going against Mad Bum, right? Nola, Voit, Crony, I looked this morning. They're all hitting over 300 off Mad Bum. Myers has owned Mad Bum, especially on opening day. And I know it's not opening day. I know Myers is on the IL. But if he was in the lineup, that would be another guy that has played really, really well at the plate against Mad Bum in his career. Can they keep those good track records going? All three of those guys are in the lineup today. Nola is catching. Or is he catching? I think he's catching. Yeah, Alfaro's DHing. Yeah. They weren't going to leave Alfaro out of the lineup after last night. Get a sweep after getting swept, right? That's not really watching for anything. That's literally just watching the game to see what the result is. But getting swept by the Rockies, that sucked. And then losing Manny. Now, if you can go back home here, you win the first 2 games already. Now you can win if you can win this third game, you're going to start off the homestand 3-0 and make up all 3 of those games that you just lost. That's huge. And then you head into the Philadelphia Phillies series. They're a pretty good team, but you head into that series and um you got good pitchers going, right? Tomorrow, Musgrove. I'm excited to go to that game. Crony bobblehead day as well. And then Gore, Snell. Don't know what you're gonna get, but then Sunday, I believe is it Gore? No. Darvish, I think is Sunday. Gore, I believe, is Friday, and Musgrove's tomorrow. So they got good pitching matchups. And Tupac13, I appreciate this comment. I hope you subscribe to this YouTube channel for daily Padres content. Jonathan says that you guys lost me for a second. Hopefully I'm back. It says I'm good on my side of things. So hopefully I'm back. Everything's good on my side. Just going through some comments here. Jay Hill, what's up? Jonathan, Gian. Yeah, Jonathan says Clev versus Mad Bum, hopefully a good matchup. I think it's going to be a pretty good matchup as well for the Padres. Now, yeah, do we really know what to expect out of Clev? No, I don't. The pitch count, 60, 70 pitches, is probably what I would expect. I think Bob Melvin is expected to talk to the media at 11 a.m. So stay tuned to the Talking Friars Twitter account at Talking Friars for updates or any of my thoughts on that. But we can get to Clev's game logs. I mean, obviously, the last time out, like I mentioned earlier, 2 innings, 2 earned runs, didn't walk anyone, but he was leaving pitches over the middle of the plate. The outing before that was June 5th, so that was a while ago. That doesn't really matter, but he went 3 innings, 1 earned run. Hasn't gone more than 5 innings in any start, and that was 75 pitches. So I think you could see around that same thing in this start, just because he is pretty rested. He's on regular starters rest, but they're not going to go 80, 90, 100 pitches with him because he did just come off COVID, right? They're not going to do that. Yeah, John, love that comment. Let's effing go San Diego, new favorite player. He's not my new favorite player, but I definitely love Alfaro. Yeah. My mom made a shirt for me last night, made that really quickly. That's on the Talking Friars Twitter as well. At Talking Friars if you want to go look at that. And it's just simple. But I love it. So shout out to her. Mad Bum, Mad Bum this year, he's been pretty good. 6 innings, 2 earned runs in his last start, an earned run in the start before that. His worst start this year was against the Dodgers, where he gave up 5 runs. But he still went 6 innings there. So he's giving length to this team. A lot of 5, 6 inning performances is what I'm seeing so far this year out of Mad Bum. And at one point, his ERA was down to 1.78 before he faced the Dodgers. So he's having a pretty good year. The one time that he faced the Padres this year was April 7th on opening day. He went 3 innings, 1 earned run. I don't remember a whole lot about that. A whole lot about that start. And why he was pulled early, 68 pitches. If anyone remembers why, well, I see the 4 walks, but if anyone remembers why he was pulled that early, let me know, because that was kind of weird looking at the game logs there this morning. You're right, tourist. I see that. Yeah, wish Myers was playing today. Myers has multiple home runs, I know, against Mad Bum in his career. The one that stands out to me was, I think, 2019 opening day. It was Manny and Tatis's Padres debuts, major league debuts, and Myers took Mad Bum yard to opposite field into the party deck in right center, where they have like the in front of the Park in the Park in Gallagher Square. I know. I hope you where the surfboards and stuff. And Donna Mudd did a game or two from those seats over there. He hit it over there. It was smashed. But yeah, Myers obviously not in the lineup. He's on the IL. Don't even know when he's really going to come back. I think he's just resting and recovering right now. Um, we talked about Clev. I would think like 70 pitches, something like that. And, you know, we could talk about the bullpen situation right now, actually. Nick Martinez, by the way, I'm sharing this bullpen chart. Nick Martinez, I believe, is available today to pitch. Uh, and Annie Halbrun pointed this out to me on Twitter today. I think that the Padres want to keep Nick Martinez built up because he's going to probably start a game before the All-Star break again. So I could see if he does pitch, it's going to be like 3 innings. But other than him, I mean, Stammen and Morahone are definitely available, and they can go multiple innings. I think that Martinez would come in after Clev, but maybe they want to go Morahone and go right, left, right instead of right, right. You know? But Rogers, they'd probably prefer. I mean, look, they'd obviously prefer not to use Rogers, Garcia, or Chris Matt, to be honest, right? Or Wilson. Um, Getting ready for the Phillies series this weekend, just don't use them. And especially when you got a 4-game series kind of this weekend against Philly. And you don't use them because you'll be up, 7-0. That's what obviously they hope. That's what they hope every game. But we know that that's not what the offense is going to do consistently, I don't think, on a daily basis. Especially with the lineup that they have out today. I mean, holy cow, 5 through 9. There's not a whole lot there. And we'll get to that. But the bullpen, yeah, there's 3 guys if you count Nick Martinez that are definitely available today. And then if we get to the bullpen, or excuse me, I just did the bullpen. If we get to the lineups, I can just go through Arizona's real quick. Dalton Varsho, Alec Thomas, Josh Rojas, Christian Walker, David Peralta's back in there after missing, I think, the last 2 games. Pavin Smith is at first. Geraldo Perdomo is at short. Jake Hager's at second. Jose Herrera is catching, and he's batting ninth. I don't really get too much into the opposing team's lineup because I'm not watching the opposing team every day. I'm watching the Padres every day. And with the Padres, you got Profar leading off, Crony, Voit, and this is where it gets interesting. Like, with no Hosmer right now, he's usually going to hit 4 through 6 maybe. Probably not a whole lot lower than that just because it is Eric Hosmer and the money he's making and all that. I know that shouldn't be factoring into their decisions, but we just know that Hosmer, he's going to play most of the games. But I like that Luke Voigt's in there at first, and it's not Hosmer DHing. They're having Alfaro DH. That's the better option. You got Mad Bum. He's a lefty, right? Yeah. Left versus left. If it would have been Hosmer versus Mad Bum, that's not a great matchup. In Hosmer's career, okay, he's hitting 250. That's not bad. 1 home run off of him. I know he had like that 6 RBI game in 2020, I think, against the Diamondbacks in the COVID year. It was like July 24th or whatever the date for opening day was that year. But the way that Hosmer's playing right now, there's no doubt that having Alfaro hitting 4th, cleanup, DHing, and having Luke Voit play first base, who hasn't been terrible playing first base, that's the better option. So you got Profar leading off, you got Crony playing second, hitting second, Voit, Alfaro. But then after that, right, I love the first 4 today, but then after that, you got nothing. I mean, can Nola put together an okay at bat? Yeah. Can Ozokar put together a good at bat? Yeah. Abrams, he had a hit last night. Cool. But in terms of power, in terms of turning on the TV, seeing Nola at the plate, it's like, oh, yeah, I have confidence he can drive one to the gap. No, I don't feel like that, at least. Kim batting 5th, Nola batting 6th, Grisham batting 7th, Azokar batting 8th, and CJ Abrams is batting 9th. Hitting 180. That number, I'm not going to pay attention to too much because a bunch of those games, obviously, pretty much all those games, was the first time that he was called up when, Fernando was hurt, and it was his first time in the big leagues. Now he's up again, and so I'd pay attention to those numbers more. I think he has 2 hits so far in these 2 games that he's been up playing. But yeah, the bottom half of the lineup, 230 is 247 is their best batting average, and it's Jose Azocar, who's not playing every day. He has 5 RBIs this year. You know, Grisham hasn't even had a great year. He's hitting 184, and he's had 26 RBIs, right? Compared to 5 for Azocar. Like, Azocar is not getting as much playing time as Grisham is, obviously. There's just not a whole lot there in that bottom half of the order. And I can't say that I'm totally shocked because Tatis is out, Manny's out, Hosmer's not in the lineup. That's, 3 guys that are usually in the lineup that you're not replacing them with. Um, Meyer's not in the lineup either. That's another one. But still, when you look at it, it's kind of like, whoa. Let's hope the top half of the lineup's on their game today because the bottom half, I can't really trust them. Um, Talked about the lineups, talked about what to watch for, Clev's length. Do they go Stammen and Morejon, or does Martinez come in after that? And then getting that sweep after being swept is huge, earning those games back or, canceling out that sweep. Last game in my Padre pick, I picked Jerks, and Profar, he went 0 for 2, so I'm 42 and 22 so far this season in my Padre pick, my pregame show Padre pick. Today, for my Padre pick, I mean, can I go with anyone else other than Jorge Alfaro? I don't think so. Like what he did last night, he's hitting fourth, DHing. He can focus on his hitting today. Right versus left matchup with Mad Bum. He has an OPS over 1,000 in June this year. He's hitting 444 off Mad Bum in his career. That seems like the slam dunk decision. So I'm going to go with him for my Padre pick. Again, today's game, Bally Sports San Diego, 97.3 The Fan. I'll be back with a series reaction episode after the game, sometime after the game. Don't know exactly when, but I should be clipping highlights as well. And it's not just the home runs and all that like the Padres and Bally Sports San Diego does. It's highlights that you won't find really anywhere else. So at Talking for Hours on Twitter, and I hope you subscribe to this YouTube channel as well for the daily Padres content. Let's finish this up with any questions or comments you guys have here in the chat. Again, I appreciate everyone in here live. Let's go Slam Diego, I'm seeing. Shout out Flaherty for holding it down. I mean, yeah, I guess shout out to him. I mean, how many former managers were helping him in the dugout? It's not like Bob Melvin wasn't communicating with him when the game wasn't going on, right? Ryan Christian was in the dugout the last couple days. He was Christensen was the interim manager yesterday. I mean, props to Ryan Flaherty. He stinks at giving answers to the media, if I'm being honest. But again, that's not his job. His job is to be the quality control coach or whatever you want to call that position, whatever he does. Game planning with matchups and stuff, I think, is what he's doing there with the offense, along with Michael Berdar, who might, by the way, take the Michigan college baseball head coaching job, which I discussed in studio with John and Jim yesterday. John Schaefer, Jim Russell. They were great. I really appreciate their time and them allowing me to come into the studio. And I talked with them for the last 2 hours of the show. I was there the entire show. The last 2 hours of the show I was on. And on this YouTube channel, Talking for Hours YouTube channel, just go to the videos, and there's a clip of all the highlights from me on the show yesterday. Talked about Hosmer and his playing time. A little NBA in there, actually. Roasting Jim a little bit. That was fun. And hopefully I can do that again. But that was definitely a great experience to have yesterday, and I recommend you check that out. So thank you to them again, John and Jim, if you guys are listening. Thank you so much for that opportunity. I really appreciate that. JT Snod says replacements for Grisham at the deadline or pull someone up. I mean, yeah, I don't think they're going to replace Trent Grisham. The only way that they're going to replace him is probably with Esteury Ruiz, I would think. And that would probably be like September. Like I was talking to Jim Callis yesterday on episode 186, and I was asking him that question. I was like, "Hey, when's the realistic time frame for Esteury Ruiz to be called up?" And he was saying, "Yeah, probably in September. They want more at bats with him there. He's had a better year this year, but he did have not a great offensive season last year." So he came at it with the viewpoint that, yeah, he's definitely going to get more at bats in AAA. And so replacing Grisham to answer that question, Jay, I don't think they were even thinking about doing that right now. Just going to put him at the bottom of the order and have a Zokar be in there every once in a while. And I think Grisham, with the dive last night, I think he's learned his lesson. Don't do that because he costed the team. He costed the team. They won, but he costed the team because Steven Wilson and Tim Hill and Chris Matt, or who pitched in extra innings? It was Wilson and who was the other? Who was the other guy? That Tim Hill, right? I think it was Tim Hill. He costed those two guys. They shouldn't have had to pitch yesterday if they pitched in extra innings in the 10th and the 11th. Shouldn't have had to pitch. But they did have to pitch because the game was tied. The game shouldn't have been tied. The Padres should have won the game. Grisham should have never dove for the ball. It would have been a single. 2 runs would not have scored on that play. And Manai was pitching good enough that I'm confident that he would have kept the game at 0 runs, at least for the Diamondback side of things, at that point. He wouldn't have allowed a run there. John and Ben, yeah, that's right. Long ball prod, yeah. And me and John are like the same person. Like, I have no idea what's going on with the Obi-Wan Kenobi stuff that Jim's talking about. My favorite movies are Moneyball and Field of Dreams and stuff. Watching the Hustle Netflix show. I'll try to get to that at some point. Yeah, we're pretty much the same. Always watching sports or doing something with sports. Maybe we're boring. Whatever. All right, I think that's going to do it. Bob Mellon, I think, is talking at 11 a.m., so stay tuned for his comments there. Again, at Talking Friars on Twitter. This has been the Padres Diamondbacks pregame show for June 22nd, 2022. Thank you, everyone, for watching live or on replay. I'm Ben Fadden signing off. Enjoy the game today. Enjoy your Wednesday. See you later. Go Padres.